Hello guys and welcome to my new tutorial about typography. I just want to show you how I am doing my typography in After Effects. So hopefully I can show you something new and give you some inspiration to try out new things. Alright, so let's see what I'm going to teach you. This is the typography I'm showing you now. So to start, I already prepared a new project file. I just added a scene. So I picked this scene because I thought it would look nice to have a typography on it. It does not have very fast movements and the focus itself is on the scene. So when you add a typo, you can read it very easily. It's not a scene you would take for a transition or something like this. So first of all, I add the text for the typography. Since we don't have a song, I just write typography. I begin with typo G. I'm gonna split the word. So because I think it's too long. After we have the text, I like to add some effects to make it look better. So I get a feeling of how it gonna look like after. First, I add the blur because I think the edges are kind of too sharp in my opinion. It's like the typo does not belong to the scene. It's not anime-like. Then I give it some shadow because I like how it looks like. And yeah, it's like, yeah, you know what I mean? It's just cool. After the blur, I add the gradient effect. So you have two colors. At this point, I move the gradient effect on the top because otherwise it would apply on every other effect as well, like on the shadow, and I don't like the shadow to have gradient effect. Then I'm adjusting the gradient effect. I move the colors at the point where it's looking nice. I select the typo and create a new pre-composition. So you have a lot more of customization options and you can change a lot of things in this composition and you're safe in it. I scale the composition down a little bit because I just have a typography in it. I don't think I need the whole scale. So I scaled it down and I also put it in the middle. With this settings right here, you can see the middle and adjust it. At this point we have our scene and the typography in a new composition. Okay, I make it smaller a little bit more, I don't like it. Okay, that's looking good in my opinion. Then we preview the scene one more time. We can add the typo right there and animate the typo like the movement of the scene. Very important at this point, first of all, we are designing one frame. We are designing it, so we are not animating it already. We are designing one frame, and after we made the frame, which is looking very nice, we can start animating it. Okay, so I think this frame is very good. Just for you to know, if we animate the typo, we don't use motion blur. It does not look good on the scenes. I tried it a lot of times, but sometimes, well, it happens to look good. You have to play around and try it out. Since animes have their own FPS, you can't just add something and animate it with keyframes if you want it to look as original as possible, because people will just realize it is added into the scene. Especially if you activate motion blur, it looks kind of weird sometimes. That's the reason why we animated keyframe for keyframe. So now we pick the right scene, I mean frame, which we're gonna design first. Okay, this is good. And now we edit the text, the typography, we make it fit to the scene. I make it as a 3D layer. Even if we don't use any 3D camera or something, we just rotate it a little bit so we get a 3D look and make it look like it is inside the scene. So we start with designing the first frame and we're doing our first keyframes: scale, rotate, and position. We can animate it keyframe for keyframe every frame, or we animate it like this and we cut it down. But let's start to design the scene. I'm going to edit the typo like a way it is, yeah, around this guy a little bit. Yeah, maybe this angle is good. Okay, I think the text is too short. I don't want to make the typo bigger as well. That's why I extend the typo. That's looking way better now in my opinion. Improving it a little bit more and then we are almost done. Maybe changing the color. Not looking bad, but maybe the color of the eyes. Okay, so I won't get the color this way. I copy paste the effect on the other composition so I can take the color. And then I copy the effect again with the right color and paste it into the typo. After this I can delete the effect from the main composition. Then we have the typography with a new color. I like it. Because I think we can still make it look better, I add CC lens. I like when the text is around him a little bit. So I'm trying around, playing with the settings until I like it. Okay, that's fine for me like this. Now we start to animate the keyframes, frame for frame. When you ever have masked a scene, you must realize that there are a lot of double frames. And when you ever animate something in a scene and have a gap in your keyframes, then it will fuck up your results. Because your animation will move even if the scene is not moving because of the double frames of the anime. So I will just continue the movement of the character and animate it keyframe for keyframe so it is fitting to the scene. Now we should be good. Yeah, that's okay. Now you can just duplicate the typography composition and add another typography. Then we don't have to animate the second typography again. We just have to copy paste the keyframes and then we are fine. Well, the only problem is you have the first typography on the top of the second typography and you want to change the position of the layer. So you add a null object and you bind it into the second typography and then you can change the position and other things as well, like the scale of it. But think about it, if you scale it down, it's sharper. You have to blur it again maybe. But that's it basically. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a nice day.